Alright, hello. Getting set up for the stream here. I'll be doing some more sketching and drawing, and then doing some vector art. Got a little sketch that I had done. I saw a dragon character. I want to go ahead and kind of work out a little bit. Let me know if the mic volume's good, how the music is as well. Alright, so I've got Affinity Designer open. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do some sketching. I'm going to switch over to the Pixel Persona. Grab my brush tool. Come into my brushes panel here. Natural Pencil 4B. I'm going to create myself a new layer here. Alright, so we can get sketching. So I was drawing my dog the other day, and I kind of came up with this little idea for this little dragon character kind of hanging out. So he's been sitting as a sketch on a little piece of scrap paper here on my desk for a little while, so I thought he was cute and wanted to see if I could work him out in vector. But so I started with my head shape there, and then I've got this big long shape here, another oval, kind of making up his belly, the main section of his body there. So if this was to be like a oval, I'm trying to squish this oval a little bit, make it flatter at the bottom to kind of give this shape and his body some weight. I'm just going to play around with the shapes a bit. This back to just come out a little bit more. So this could be a very, fun part of the process. We're just trying some different things, pushing and moving the shapes around a little bit. Kind of keeping in mind the vector part of the process as we're kind of sketching this out. So knowing how I'm going to vector certain shapes or handle certain overlaps of certain features, thinking about it now will help the vector process later on. So vector art's a little different than just normal drawing and painting, where you got to think maybe a little bit more ahead on certain things and how you're going to layer some of the shapes to get everything to read the way you want it to. And again, once you get like a certain sketch down, don't be afraid to push it more and to try some different things. You don't have to settle with the first thing that you do. Now, sometimes you'll create a sketch that, or create something that you do like and you kind of want to just replicate, like the little sketch I had done of this guy here. I liked it. I thought it was cute to go ahead and just bring it to a vector. I do want some like kind of plates. It's more so cute little dino. Not so much dragon here. I'm working on a little dino. A little wrinkle there. I think about in the sketch I have just kind of a pretty simple black eye there with a little bit of a highlight in it. So nothing too crazy. Let me I want that little eyebrow to kind of pop off the top of his head. So a little bit of a simpler face. Think about adding a nose, maybe a little tiny, not like that. It's got just a little nice, cute little smile. It's kind of our little chillin' dino here. We're gonna have him listening to some music. It was kind of the main inspiration for this little guy. So maybe he's got a pair of headphones on. I want this to stick up off his head a bit and kind of look like it's wrapping around to the other side. Bring him down just a hair. Then I wanted to go ahead and add some little music notes. Something kind of like that. I want to move these just a bit. higher. There we go. And maybe a third note. We'll see. Let's get rid of that for now. We can always come back to that. I also wanted to have them have like these plates. Let's see if I can get to kind of break this line a little bit. Have them get smaller as they come to the back of his tail. And then to this one right here, we want to make sure that this line doesn't run into the tail shape, so we want to change that shape just a little bit. Make it a little bit pointier. We'll have that come around. And it's always good to draw through the shape. You could always come back and erase it later on, but it's good to draw through the shape so that way you know the line connects properly on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and just move this a hair. I just want to change the orientation of it slightly. Hit Control D to deselect that, and B for a brush tool again. I want to throw one little spot up there. Give him a kind of a ground plane that he's standing on there. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer quick. I'll turn off the bottom one. Kind of want to do something about the tail here. I think those shapes just... It's not really reading the way I want to. It gets very confusing and odd looking at this section here. So I think maybe if we even just... I got rid of those lines and maybe did just something like that. Just kind of get rid of that. Change this shape here, make it a little more consistent with. That works better. So it still follows the curve and still gives you kind of that feel, but it looks way less awkward. I'm going to start a new layer, just kind of going with the flow here. Maybe there's another little dino listening to music too. Maybe kind of leaning up on Daddy Dino there. So something like this might be kind of cute. I have little spikes, little plates. This is looking okay. Let's see, it's just kind of make that look like more like headphones there. Another little Now that I kind of got like some shapes in here, I want to go ahead and just really kind of push them a little bit, making some. So what I mean, like when I'm talking about pushing a shape or giving a shape, but slightly changing the shape and giving it a little bit of character. So when I talk about pushing a shape, let's just look at an oval. So that's an oval, but if I want to push the shape a little bit, I can maybe make it a little thinner or flatter on one side. It's still somewhat of an oval, but I've kind of just pushed the shape a little bit, so it'll be thinner there, it kind of comes out here. So that would be kind of designing or pushing a shape around. And then if we were to take this shape a step further, so I've kind of pushed that shape there, and now once I've kind of got that shape in there, I want to like quote unquote design it a bit. So I'll take that shape and I'll maybe make that edge, that corner, a little bit harder. So really solidifying the changes that I made, and you're designing that shape. And then if we give it some form, you know, that can help as well. We could go form the other way. Let's see how that's changed that object now. So this is what I mean by pushing and designing a shape. Pushing and designing shapes. And this is what all character design is. Taking shapes and melding them together, pushing and pulling them to create new, unique shapes, especially once you combine them all together. Kind of what I'm going to go ahead and do here on the dino. So I've got that shape back there, but now I really want to go ahead and make it the shape I want, right? So This foot back here is a little wide, especially for being the foot in the background, so I want to make that just a little bit smaller. Come around here, I'm really going to push this shape here, flatten it out a little bit at the bottom. The little baby dino is leaning on that section, and I think in this one, yeah, that hole, so I'm going to go ahead and just hold shift and just down a little bit so the baby dino's back is hitting that ground plane. Pop a dino there, and then we'll bring that around. And now, as opposed to just having the tail kind of come flat out that way, right? You know, this is, you could certainly go with something like that, but by bringing it forward, we're creating more space in the drawing. So as opposed to just having everything two-dimensional, where it's just going up, down, left to right, right to left, up, down, and all that, I'm now adding that third dimension, right? So now this tail is coming towards us. So if you were to look at a cylinder straight from the side, it would look very much like a rectangle. You know, the little edges would be a little more round. If you were to look at that cylinder at an angle, it would look like that, and then the lines would wrap around it. And that's essentially what we're doing here. As opposed to having the tail come out just flat, side to side, left to right, we've got the tail coming towards us. So now there is the potential for form there. So we would go and now that form is going back and away from us, and this one is coming out and towards us. So even for a simple little cartoon like this, these principles will help kind of, it doesn't make it more realistic. Again, we're working with a cartoon here, but what it really does is it bases it more in quote-unquote reality. This is how our minds kind of interpret information that we see. So by incorporating some of these techniques into our drawing and whatnot, we're essentially tricking our mind into seeing or believing that there's a 3D space here when really it's only a 2D space. And we're just either looking at a screen or we're looking at a piece of paper. So these are different tricks that an artist can use to create that forced realism. And I use the word realism even if it's a cartoon. And by realism, when I'm referring to a cartoon, that simply just means that you're going to be able to look at the drawing, and it's what separates a good cartoon from a bad cartoon. Is that little additional information, even if it's not fully apparent to the reader or viewer as they're looking at it, but it's what separates great cartoonists from average cartoonists. So the more you could build on those techniques and that foundational drawing ability and concepts, the further your cartooning, your illustrations, whatever it may be, the further it will go and the more it will resonate with the viewers and readers as well. I'm going to turn off Papa Dino real quick. I'm going to pull this out a little bit, so I'm going to just go ahead and that. Press down just a hair. Okay. Let me go back in here and tighten that up. Now some of this stuff I can take care of in vector as well, like the minor spacing issue. I can take care of that in vector. So like I said, I like to give myself as much information as possible in the sketch, so that way I'm not trying to do anything too crazy while I'm vectoring, but I don't create a fully finished drawing either. That way I can still have some room in the vector process to push things around a little bit, or try something else. I like that spontaneity, and also it keeps me more engaged in the drawing. If I did a really nice finished drawing before going into vector, I would lose some interest in the vector phase. The vector part of it. So I try to keep that interest by allowing myself some room to move, add, or change things in the vector. So the next question would be, do we want spots on our dinos? I do want maybe to make baby dino. Let's see. That'd be about the same size dino, so we want, yeah, baby dino. And this is something too that after the fact I could play around with a little bit more as well. I think that's pretty cute. I don't think I'm really gonna add a background. If I was going to, it'd be something simple. So what I'm doing now is I'm holding Shift, and I'm creating my straight lines. So now what I would want to do as well is the ground plane will change. But I drew that on Papadon, so let's go ahead and get rid of this for right this second. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back up a little bit. Hold Shift to keep that in line. Just move that back. So the ground plane would be up against, say, the back of the wall. So we'd have it and be behind the desk. Or the drawers or cabinets or whatever this would be over here. And have some pictures on the walls, things like that. So could have potentially have like a rug there. That would be to give it a simple background. There's probably other things we could do for the background. But this is just a little idea. So for now, if we were going to go with something a little more simple, maybe so let's see where we kind of end up going with some of that. More so than that, we can actually kind of have maybe they're actually outside on the beach. Maybe they're sitting on a something like that might be kind of cool and fun. So let's go ahead and I'm going to move the water line up just a bit. Hold shift and drag that up. So that's the thing is like I started this with just the idea for the one dino. Sometimes as you get going you'll come up with other ideas and other things to try, and I had no intention of a background, but once we kind of got going here, it's just kind of made me think about it a little bit more, and maybe something like that might be a pretty cool idea. Because then we could use a lot of the... I have several videos on my YouTube channel. I have step-by-step landscape tutorial videos creating vector landscapes. I've got a beach scene and I've got a few other ones. So this would essentially be like creating one of those backgrounds with our dinos in the front, which I think might be kind of cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the pencils for the beach right now. I've got baby dino there and Papa Dino here. Only other question I have would be, let's add another layer. Do we want them to have spots? Maybe nothing too crazy, right? But I want the spots to be a little bit bigger than the main part of his back, and then maybe break up a little bit. And they get smaller as they taper. So having the bigger spots on the back, they get smaller up towards his head, and then smaller as they go down the tail. Maybe add a couple kind of to his knee area there. Some on his arms, just a few. Could do a bit better on that, make him look a little bit. It's kind of like if you're looking at tiger stripes almost, or like markings on animals, and if you look at how they're kind of spaced, or any type of lizard out there, bearded dragons and whatnot, you've got the main pattern almost, or what I would call the main pattern, like being on the back. But then if you watch how that pattern kind of, it gets smaller and kind of breaks apart and blends into other aspects and other colorings towards the head and tail. So if you look at certain types of lizards and snakes, you'll see how that pattern kind of changes as it gets to those areas. So that's essentially what I'm kind of trying to do here. So we're going to rock that for now. This is going to be our spots layer. Maybe have a few less. We're just on the back, and then on the tail right now. You could always add more when we get to the vector part, so. So you see I keep creating new layers to try some of things out. I've got something that I'm pretty happy with as far as the main drawing goes, so I don't want to mess that main drawing up too much, so I'm creating new layers just to try different things. So I'd imagine they're using Bluetooth headphones and whatnot, so I'm not really going to have them I don't know, I was thinking about maybe having them hold like a phone or something where they'd be doing listening to the music from, but we could always have like a little speaker or something. But let's go ahead and try to get an idea of what kind of headphones. So I'm not trying to get too realistic with the headphones or anything, but I do want them to read as headphones, right? So you know, I want it to be very easy to tell, oh yeah, they're headphones. You know, so you could always use whatever headphones that you use personally. You could do a quick Google image search for headphones and find a number of different headphones that you can look at. So again, nothing crazy, but again, I just wanted to make sure that it reads properly. Because a lot of times, I mean, that's what when a good drawing versus a bad drawing is really a situation where something isn't drawn quite right, and when you're looking at it, or anyone else may look at it, it just, they might not be able to pick up on exactly what it is that's bothering them about a particular image, but it could be little things like that, something that just doesn't look quite right, like, oh, that looks like headphones, but they don't look quite like headphones. So that's always something that can kind of it could pull people out of the drawing that they're looking at. Hey Russ, how you doing? Sorry, I just saw your messages. I've got both platforms up, and I don't get messages unless I'm on the screen. So I hope you're doing well. Russ, it's been a while. Thank you again. I appreciate all of your support. It really means a lot. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to hop over to the designer persona. Oh, it's your Saturday. Very nice. I hope you're enjoying your day off. So I got the pen tool. Just trying to find a spot I want to start. We'll just go right here. We'll start working our way around. Close that. There we go. Oh, very cool. How's the novel coming? And research for writing must be a lot of fun. I imagine that's a lot like what I go through when I'm looking up reference images for things that I want to draw or trying to get some inspiration. So I'm looking up different things. Very slow. Yep, it could be that way. I was reading something the other day about like motivation and inspiration, and how a lot of times we kind of wait for that motivation or the inspiration to hit us in order to start doing something. And this person's approach was that it's really more about doing the thing first, and by doing the thing first is what will then, as you gain momentum, be the thing that actually creates the motivation. So we kind of think that, oh, well, we need the motivation first before we could go and do something big, crazy, or cool. And really, in reality, it's more so taking the small steps and starting the journey first. And by doing that, then continues to give us the motivation to complete the journey. So I think that also kind of falls in line with like when we're on the journey, when we're actually doing it, when it does get hard and difficult. It's sort of the same principle in my mind. Like, it's a matter of still going and still doing something, even if it is just a tiny little thing. At least a tiny little thing still got done, as opposed to nothing getting done. So even though it seems like it's going very slow, there could be a lot kind of going on in the background, and then all of a sudden something will click, and there'll just be an avalanche of inspiration and whatnot. So that's what I'm hoping for you, Russ. I'm hoping that you get that flood and spike of inspiration, but doing the work is what will bring that, I think. I try to do that for myself, for my art. Sometimes I'm not really feeling like create something anyway. Because the other thing is too, is if as a creative person, I think it is true that a lot of times we feel like there's got to be some specific outcome for the thing that we're creating, and other times I think it's really great just to create for yourself, like just to create something. Like, no matter what, you're creating something, you're bringing something into this world that wasn't there before, and that's awesome. So it doesn't make a difference whether you do something with it in particular, or it's something that only you know about, or you share with only a few people, but you're still creating something that didn't exist before, and I think that's really neat. It's funny too, because like, no matter what you do, no matter what you do for a living, even if it's not like a creative pursuit, there's still like creation and creativity involved. Like if you're presented with a problem and you come up with a solution for that problem, you created something. You created that solution to the problem. You created a solution that wasn't there before. So you made something new no matter what. So all, everything, you can argue that anything and everything is creation, for the most part. And I think that's really cool too. And I'm reading a book by Rick Rubin. He kind of talks about some of that too, which I thought was really neat. The book, The Creative Act, The Way of Being. So I've got all these spikes here. I'm going to go ahead and group them so I don't lose them for now, and they're going to get out of hand real quick. So I'm going to bring this below our main curve here. Just kind of keep moving along. Gonna hold Control and move that node handle back, and then I'm going to click the center of that circle to end it, and I'm going to make it a sharp point. I can hit Escape here to end that. Yeah, you bet. You bet, Russ. I got it actually. It was a birthday gift from my brother, and it's a really great book. It was a very thoughtful gift from him. It talks a lot about creativity, but in a very unique way. And I really enjoy his approach to the subject, and it mirrors a lot of the way I feel about things, and my certain experiences I've had as an artist, and then other experiences outside of art as well. So it's a book I very much appreciate. I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there. I think you would enjoy it as well, Russ, based on some of our previous conversations. So, here we go. We got this guy going here. Now, I want to go ahead and, yep, and then I can pull this one down, and we get a nice taper there. It's like my node tool, and bring that in there a bit. That we're going to bump down to a 4 as a detail. Oops, that. Jump ahead, just hit escape to end that node. So just want to add some details to the baby dyno quick while I've got the stroke set this way. It's actually the opposite of what I want though. So let's just change these up a bit. Oop. I wish that worked a little bit better. There you go. I want the slightly... I can add another node there. Make that a little bit smaller. So you can see how... I mean, that could be a video on its own is using these things here. But you can see how you manipulate them. You can see how much they change. You can see... So there's a lot of different things you could do with this panel. But you do have to double click on the one to move it. So there we go. Alright. Back up to Papa here. Oh, I probably should have just waited on that because now I'm going to end up losing those shapes or getting them all confused with something else. Alright, so we're back up to hop over here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and reset that pressure, and we're just going to go ahead and oops. Hit Control Z to get rid of that. Double click on that, move it up. Alright. I cannot tell you how often that I do that. I do that a lot. I do that a lot. So we'll go ahead and the little underside of its belly here. I'm going to pull this shape into the main body shape, which is not that one, that's the pixel layer. I also want to go ahead and get his face details, get this line here and that line there as well. I'll bring those into the main shape. And then this curve we bring down to the foot shape. I like to try to keep my layers and stuff organized, as I've mentioned in the past. For me, it's better to do it now. Take the time to do it right now, so that way later if I come back to make any tweaks to this drawing, to resize it for something, say I create a full image here, I want to be able to come back and be able to easily edit the file or move things around, so I can create stickers out of the image if I'd like, I can put it on a t-shirt if I'd like, and things like that. So it's always good just to make sure everything's organized, you know where everything is, that way you can do what you have to do with it later if you want. So we're gonna go ahead and just do an eye, set the fill color to black, and then I'm just gonna take a so now what I'm gonna do is, with this ellipse selected, I'm going to hold Control and select the ellipse below it. So it's got the white ellipse and the black ellipse. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click Subtract, and it will cut that white ellipse out. So now I've got just this shape here. Drag this down to the main shape. I gotta come back into his belly shape. Kind of forgot to do this while I was there, but we got his belly shape here. Do that. I gotta add the black stroke back to it. Escape. Escape. I'll get it one day. Escape. And escaped. And those lines. Alright, very nice. Now I do want to make sure that these, I'm going to pull into the belly shape itself. So this is a really great way of organizing everything, is clipping these shapes into the other shapes. So that way, as opposed to creating a separate group for that, everything is just in that belly shape. Okay. Headphones I'll probably end up using for both characters. So one of the things I like about vector art is if you're going to do it, like, use it, you might as well be able to reuse some of the assets and such for more of a smarter, not harder approach. I'm going to stick to the outside line, so this line is going to come back here. I want to close it off, and I could come in here and add my I'll come back and tweak that here in a little bit. Reset the pressure on that and get rid of this. Nope. Get rid of the fill. I'm going to duplicate this shape, and then I'm going to drag that circle into the other circle, and I'm going to grab the circle that I just dragged, and I'm going to move it like that to try to. Actually, let's hold Control and Shift to downsize it a bit. Then I'm going to move it. I like that. That's got to be on top. I'm going to create an oval. And then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this oval, drag the oval into the other oval. With that oval still selected, I'm going to hold Control and Shift. With my Move tool, Control and Shift. Downsize it a bit, and then move it up and over. Actually, that's going to be the inside, so we're going to move it down and to the left. That I'll show you here once we get to the coloring part of it why I went ahead and did that. We'll drag that into that shape. There we go. So let's see here. I'm going to grab the pencil tool. I'm going to draw some of these shapes out. The only problem is it didn't connect, so I don't know why we can't just... Alright. Should start it so I could get back to the connection point the right way. Let's see here. There's got to be an auto close. Yeah, auto close. Cool. Thank you. Nice. Okay. So this is nice to use the pencil tool for this. A little bit faster than using just the pen tool. So I've got a few videos that I'm going to be working on. One is the color theory video, Another is basic lighting. And I'm also going to be doing 2 more videos. Another video on sketching in Pixel Persona, where I give some more advice and information on the actual sketching part of the process in Pixel Persona. I'll dive a little bit more into the brush palette and different ways of utilizing Pixel Persona for the sketching phase of your drawing. And then also be working on a new stroke versus fill video where I talk about some of the different vector options we have for creating lines. So like, you know, we've got the pen tool, we've got the pencil tool here, so things like that. These are those couple of the, I have the sketching in Pixel Persona and the stroke versus fill videos on my YouTube channel that you can go see. I just want to go ahead and create some new updated versions of those videos. Alright, so I'm going to select all of these, come over here to stroke. There are various lengths. I'm going to make them all 2, and I'm going to group them. And this group can be pulled down into the main body group. Alright, so we can kind of just add some color and see where we want to go with this. Now, I do have... That's cool. We're going to go there with that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I need to get... oh boy, finding these. Okay, there's 1. There's 2, there's 3. Alright, we got to bring these up to the leg. There we go. I'm surprised I found them so fast. Alright, cool. And then those could be... That's cool. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll grab this group. And his belly. Let's just see if we made it a little more. Yeah, let's make it a little more yellow-ish. There you go. Alright, we'll come back up to the spots for his legs. Select the same yellow. Now for his eye, I suppose in hindsight we could have kept that other bit since we need this anyways. So sometimes the process is a little bit of back and forth, play around with a little bit. Now I do need to, oh, I'm going to need to get, oh no, those are his spiky spikes, so I need to get 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull these up to the arm. There we go. Cool, cool. And then I suppose for his spikes, see, that's the thing, is why would that yellow I just had out here, why would that go away? So there we go. Color picker tool, very handy. That's almost kind of cool. Maybe we'll try something like that. It's a little different, but it looks cool. All right, so let me kind of take a look at. So that's fine. So now we got to bring this one spike here all the way up to the top. See, this is going to be tricky because this has to be over his head. But behind this. Just like that. Okay. Alright, so this part here is going to be darker, but then this is going to be that same color there. Darker. Cool. All right. Let me go ahead and take a quick look at doing little music notes here. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Appreciate everyone for being here and hanging out. I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube, so if you haven't already, please give me a follow or subscribe. I've got some videos planned that I'm going to be working on, and I've been streaming more as well. I do primarily vector art in Affinity Designer, although we'll be branching out a little bit into probably Clip Studio Paint. That's the other program that I use quite a bit for my non-vector work. But I love teaching. I love sharing what I've learned and whatnot. So that's really primarily what my goal is here with YouTube and Twitch. Is really just to be able to share my art process with you all, and you know, hopefully you can learn something from some of my mistakes and some of the things that I've learned for being an artist for almost like 15 years now. It's just kind of crazy to say, but it's been a while. So yeah, if I can offer you, you know, any advice or any kind of help along the way, that's my goal. So certainly, if you have any questions, please let me know. I don't want a stroke on that. We'll go with just that. There we go. So let's just, I'm going to go ahead and show you kind of what happens here. So this is just a stroke, and then this is a fill shape. So I'm going to select both of them, and I want to add them together. Okay. So it took away the stroke line I had, took the fill shape I had, got rid of the fill, and made it a stroke. We don't want that. That's not helpful. So we're going to back this up. So what we have to do first in order to get both of these to merge together to be one shape, I'm going to take just the stroke here. I'm going to come up to Layer and come down to Expand Stroke. This will turn the stroke into a fill shape. So it is now a fill shape. So you see I went from the stroke to the fill. Okay? So now, if I take this now fill shape, now I can add it with my other oval there. So it's just a little bit of a workaround for that. Let's back that up super quick. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to hold Alt to duplicate it. Now I'm going to hold Shift, get rid of that. I'm going to combine these two here, but now I've got this shape here that I can utilize for this part. So let's go ahead and okay, I'm going to add a stroke to this. I'm going to select the node tool and move this in a little bit more. There you go. I have to hit escape for that. Boom. We're going to come in here. Let's try something before we add that. So up here, stroke, weight. So I want it to be much thicker up there, so I can add another one here. Come up here, try 7. That's how thick I want that. So then let's see if we could get these. Yeah, we can taper these down a bit. So then by pulling this down, it'll taper higher up here. This. Bring that down. A hair. Okay. So now with that shape, I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to duplicate those. These I'm going to combine. Well, I've got to Layer, Expand Stroke. I'll select both of these pieces here. I'm going to come up and add, and now we've got that as one shape. This one, we're going to bump this all down a bit. I'm going to reset the pressure on this. I do want these two to taper more. I don't want them to be as thick, so we could do 6 on that. Yep, 6 on that. And then now I'm going to go ahead and reset that pressure on that one. Layer, Expand Stroke. Add those together. Can make these a tiny bit smaller too. So that is the one thing that I very much enjoy about vector art is just how flexible it all is. Now I don't know, I'm going to use this one probably on the little dyno. But it's nice to be able to edit and change things so easily. I do want a little bit of a line. I'll hit escape on that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Baby Dino. I want to leave all the music notes alone. Alright, so we've only really got these three, right? Nope, four. Nope. I see. Okay. Let's get these music notes. Let's pull these up to the top. I'm going to get rid of this pixel layer, right? Yeah, thanks, Russ. I think Baby Dino adds a little bit more to the story, because at first, just the one dino sitting there, you know, it was just him chilling out by himself, but now we got Baby Dino. Set the stroke pressure on this, but we're going to go ahead and work our way around. Alright, we're going to reset that stroke pressure. Alright, now I do, yes. Let's come back over to the stroke panel. I'm going to add one there. I'll taper both sides of this one. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we'll work on the back leg. Alright, move that leg below. Okay, well, let's do this. Baby Dino's arm. Go. Do have to come back up over to real quick before I forget. Okay, I want to throw those into his hand there. Go ahead and do that on this side too, so I don't forget this time. Go ahead and do that for the back feet as well. Okay. Alright, and I had the, yep, there they are. Let's bring these up to the main shape. Do that, I think that looks pretty cool. And then I'm going to take from, well, wish there was a better way to be able to select that stuff. Alright, we're going to grab all of that. We're going to copy. Drag this into the main shape. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger than I had it, because the big eye on the smaller face would make it look more kitty, more kiddish. Alright, so that's that with that. I'll grab the headphones here in a little bit. I've got to go ahead and alright, let's work on this hand here real quick. I'm gonna hold control to bring that note handle back. Alright, so both of those into that hand shape. I'll leave that there for now. I'm gonna work on the inside belly slash tail. Let's go ahead and back that up just a bit. Let's see here. Alright. got a stroke on that. I gotta get that outside of here. Pull that down into the main shape. Now, I'm not going to really worry about any of those lines there. We'll go ahead and go here, though. Scale the stroke down a bit. There we go. Alright, moving along pretty nicely. Alright, let's try real quick. Let's try the pencil tool for the back plates. Drag that behind the main body shape. I do not want a fill, so we'll go ahead and do that for now. I'm going to come up with the stroke and reset this. Okay. But for instance, as a demonstration, like with traditional art where it's just raster, you know, I'd be drawing just this top side of the plate on the back, and then I would just be coloring this inside section. But since this is vector, I'm creating the full shape and enclosing it, and then that way I can set the fill color for that shape. It's probably not necessarily worth mentioning. I mean, it's the point of vector and whatnot, but I do feel like, I don't know, in case anybody had any questions or wanted to know a little bit more about the differences in the process and maybe the way you might want to think about it a little bit. Using the pencil tool for stuff like this is very nice and very much faster than just the regular old plane tool. We're gonna group these. I'll name this baby spikes because now, well, baby plates, right? Because they're plates, they're not spikes. There we go. And then now, let's go back to the main body shape. I'm gonna turn off the baby plates quick. I'm trying to kind of, these aren't like smooth. I'm trying to kind of add a little bit of some kind of corners, just a little bit. And I don't want these lines to interact directly with those. So space those out a little bit. All right, there, we're gonna come in here, we're gonna select all of those. We're gonna knock it down to 2. I'm gonna group these. These will be baby spikes. So go ahead and nope. Nope, 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 nope. All right. There's the fill. I'm going to turn on the baby plates. We'll select that. Let's start filling in some of these colors. You know what? I didn't get any of the, that's okay. We're going to do that. We'll do that right here. Fill both of these. back leg here, we'll have just one. Okay, and then to the bottom belly shape here. And actually, that is not the right green. That is, I want that more yellow, which again, we don't have here. So, back to our color picker tool. Boom, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and redo all of that. That also happens to me quite a bit, almost as more than me. Not forgetting to close my shapes. All right, so let's see here. That's all, baby. So what I want to go ahead and do is this line here is interacting directly with that spike in the back, and that's a tangent, and I don't like tangents. I come from a comic book background where you know, I was drawing a lot of comics, and tangents were really big in comics because if any part of the character, lines in the arm or leg, is to like hit a panel border in a certain way or another section of a different character and whatnot, it creates a tangent in art. So I've just been very aware of this. Tangents bug me quite a bit, so I want to mention that there. We want to avoid those two lines running into each other because it'll make it feel like and look like one shape and they're not. So I can hold shift, I can bring this all down a bit. But then I lose that spike there, so I can hold shift, I can bring it all up a little bit. And now that throws all of that off center just enough to make it look a little bit better. What I actually might do is I'll just bring this guy down, and I might just go ahead and change that line and I'll pop his stomach here. So I just bring that down a little bit, and boom, there you go. I'm gonna hold shift to scale. Oh. Another thing that I always like to do is under stroke, I like to scale with object. So let me show you what happens here. If you don't click scale with object and I hold shift and I scale that down, it keeps the stroke width the same, so it ends up blurring out. Now what happens is if I click scale with object, as I scale it down, the stroke shape will change. See, the stroke shape shrunk, but it didn't for all the pieces. So typically at the beginning of an illustration I will check scale with object, and then all the lines I create will scale with object, but I didn't do that here, so now what I got to do is I've got to open up these shapes and select all of them and scale with object. I really wish you could, I really wish there was a few things that you could set permanently or have like automated functions for, because I use this feature always. I know there are artists out there that don't like to use it for certain reasons, but it's usually different types of work. But with the way I work, I always want that checked. I almost always want that checked. There's almost never a situation where I do not click on scale with object. I wish I could set that as a permanent feature. Maybe there's a way to do it, and I haven't found it. So if anybody knows, please let me know. It's a little frustrating. I have to go back now and click on all that stuff. So, okay, here we go. Because it's literally everything that I need to click on. And then you would think that doing that would scale with object everything inside the shape, but it does not. And that's also very frustrating. if I want that to, if I wanted the whole shape to scale with object, I would imagine that I'd want the contents to also scale with object, but so the whole point of vector art is to be able to rescale it, right? So I want everything to scale. Like if it's in a group, the group, and you scale with object the group, that translates to everything else, but... Alright, so we'll see what other areas I did not get when we go to move things around later. Alright, hold Alt to duplicate that, Shift, make it smaller, bring them down here. So we got to do it where it's over baby's head, but then the one, actually this might work out a little bit. And that's the other thing is too, is sometimes the object that was under another object will pop up on top of the object. Oh, and this one still did not get hit with scale with object. There we go. Actually, I don't really know why I made them that much smaller. I mean, headphones for kids are not that much smaller than adults. They're a little bit smaller, but not much. That's way too big, though. Alright, here we go. Nope, I guess I was better off where I was. Alright, here we go. Alright. Oh, thanks, Russ. Yeah, this whole, actually, this was all inspired. My daughter and I were hanging out, and we saw this cute little, like, dino art on something. And she's like, oh, wow, that'd be so cool if he had headphones. And as soon as she said that, that prompted me to go ahead and create this little sketch of the dino with the headphones and everything. And then, yeah, and then when we got to stream here, it just hit me, yeah, maybe we need a baby dino down here, also listening in some music with Papa Dino. Let's get those two out of here for now. Alright, let's see. Baby plates. Alright, turning off all of the vector layers. So this is essentially kind of like what we kind of got here, right? I really like the colors on that. Purples, greens go very well together. They're complementary colors, so that's why they read so well together. I'm going to drag this rectangle down below everything else. Okay, we're getting there. So we're going to throw that there. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to come up to color, actually swatches. If you don't have swatches up here, if you come to window, swatches, it'll give you that window, and then you can click and drag that wherever you want. Okay, oh, sorry, give me 1 minute. I've got one of my assistants here with me on the desk causing some trouble. And by assistants, I mean one of the cats. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. I know, right? It's so nice. They always want to help, but little do they realize they're actually in the way. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to add some color for the background. And what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned earlier, I have some videos on YouTube where I create these vector landscapes. And for each of the vector landscapes that I've created, I created a color palette specifically for those landscapes. And I've uploaded them to my Patreon page. So if you subscribe to me on Patreon, you should have access, depending on which tier, you should have access to these color palettes that you can then download, import into Affinity Designer to use for whatever you may want. So I've got Sunrise Beach in here. I've got Sunset Beach. So with that loaded up, these are the various color swatches that come with the color palette. So then all I have to do is click the particular swatch that I want. It always does the gradient left to right for some reason, so we'll just come over to the gradient tool and we'll just, oh, we're going to go the other way actually. We want this to be, the water to be down here. So that'd be more if it was a sunset. Let's see, sunrise. Maybe sunrise is nicer. Yeah, we want a nice bright yellow sun. So I'm going to use the Sunrise Beach. I'm going to go ahead and create another rectangle here. I'm going to click on the sand swatch, which has the noise. If you click on the opacity here, and your code wheel, if you click opacity, it'll give you the noise, and you can add noise to it. So I think that looks cool in the sand and such. The sun would be hitting there. I go back to the swatches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create like some sweeping lines. I'm going to come up here and then I'm going to hold shift to create a nice straight line. And down. We get rid of that. Oops, sorry, I want that as the fill. I'm going to reverse the gradient. So just a little bit of that blue showing there. This is kind of be like the water. Slide up onto the beach. Actually, let's see here. Gradient. Let's change this to radial. Let's reverse the gradient. So then you have this option as well with the gradients that I've included. And then you could always come in here and you can change the colors as well. I want this to be a little bit brighter. There we go. This. There we go. just a little bit. I'm going to come over here, select the ellipse tool, hold shift. I want a nice amount. There we go. Come into our color palette. I want to make this a little bit more white. Put that right up there. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to hold Control and Shift. I'm going to make it larger. I'm going to switch the fill to stroke. All right, so I want that line there. And hold Control and Shift and bring that back a little bit closer. So it's got that ring around it. I'm going to come to stroke. I'll make this 1.7 stroke. Let's just do 2 stroke. All right, now I'm going to duplicate this ellipse again. And you see it moved it out the same distance. But now we're going to that. And now if I hit Control J, I'll do it again. And I'm going to keep bumping this down. And we'll go Control J one more time. We're going to see how this looks. Got an idea I'm trying out here. All right, so now you kind of have these circles that kind of fade out away from the sun, yeah? So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select all of those, I'm going to group them. Sun. Try to add a little blur. I'm going to open up Outer Shadow here. I'm clicking this cog wheel. I'm going to hit Scale with Object. Alright, coming back here. This I want to... Okay, that's not going to change it much. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to just lower the opacity on this just a hair. Actually, Control Shift to make it a little bit smaller. Alright, and then I might go ahead and grab the transparency tool. I'm going to start here. Out, I've got to select radial. So something like that, and then we can bump the sun up even more. Oh cool, glad you like the music, thanks Russ. Yeah, I was wondering about that. I've been trying to find a decent playlist that works well for these types of tutorials and such. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that. I want to go create a really thin one. Color, and switch that to alright, go back straight up and down. Alright, so we got this one. I'm going to hold shift. Turn that there just a bit. Alt. Turn that one a bit more. There is a better way of doing this. I'm gonna have to find out how to do it exactly to make this a little bit more mathematical and accurate. So there's a slightly better way of doing this, but this is what we got for right now. So I can select all of these. Alright, I'm going to select all of those triangles. I'm going to group them. I'm going to come to the transparency tool and do just that. Let's try radial quick. Yep, radial. Pull that down. That we could get some ovals. We're going to put these under the dynos. Now it's probably a good time for me to group and select some stuff and move some things around. So we've got one there. I'm going to hold Alt and create another one for Baby Dino. Combine those. Let's see. Get rid of that for now. We'll come back to that. I'm going to add some shadows over there and stuff too. But what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate this. Then I'm going to take the one under it. I'm going to make it this brown. I'm sorry, this desaturated purple. Set it to multiply. I'm going to drag it down. So now that way, it kind of gives me the feeling that the water is actually overlapping and is on the stand a bit. Now there's a potential to go ahead and duplicate this again. And now the one on the top, if I switch it from stroke to fill, do that. I can make this stroke, let's see, make this stroke 2. I'm going to duplicate it again. This is probably the last time I could duplicate it. I'll make that a 1. There we go. Dino's mouth here. Yeah, okay. I'm creating kind of like a towel, like a beach towel. Drag this down. Then I'm going to take a quick second to, let's see here, let's just get all of Papa Dino together. Okay. You want all of the pixel layers down here, the pixels. Get all the music notes together. So I learned, I was always really lazy about organizing all of my layers and stuff within the files, and then organizing my files in folders and stuff later on. I got really used to organizing my layers and files when I was working at a vehicle and sign shop. It was very important to always have everything labeled. That way we knew exactly where it was, so when it came to production, we knew where it was. We can get it set up and produce quickly. And also the files had to be edited because you didn't know who was going to be working on any one thing at a time, so everybody had to have like the same. It had to be really easy to pick up and have somebody be able to work on it. So I learned that from working there. I can always change the color of that here in a bit, but what I want to do is I want all my main, I'll bring them down just a bit. And then I can bring all this stuff up a bit. Okay, this has to sit above that. Just adding some shadows. Oh no, I'm still here. I had some stuff going on, so I muted the mic. But we're going to work on these shadows a bit. I'm telling myself that I'm not going to get too carried away as I get too carried away. See? So just working on various details. I just want to add some clouds as well. So for these, I'm going to go ahead and drag all of these into the water shape. Oh, okay, because that affects, I got you, okay. Okay, all right. So for the clouds, we're going to combine a bunch of different ovals. So that could be one cloud shape, so then I can come in here and I can select, I'll start up here, I'll select all of those, I'm going to combine that shape, and then I can duplicate that shape, I can flip it, I bring these all down to the bottom. another one. I like trying to create like different cloud shapes and stuff. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. So another thing that we could go ahead and do is I can make a very long cloud shape. So if you want to learn more about some of these techniques, like I've mentioned already a couple times, and I keep mentioning it because I think it's helpful for people, especially if you're here now watching me. I have several different videos on my YouTube channel where I create these vector backgrounds and I show you a lot of these techniques. So you can look up any of those videos at any time and have access to these techniques. And if you are a part of my Patreon, all of the landscape tutorials that I've done, I've uploaded the final images and I've uploaded the color palettes for each. So most of this background here, I've been working off of a sunrise vector landscape that I had done in a previous YouTube video. And then I uploaded the color palette to my Patreon page, so you have access to it there. So. But yep, I highly recommend you checking out my Patreon page. I'm constantly working on making it better and bringing more items, but I have a few different tiers, all kind of focused on learning vector art in these tutorials. So I offer various color palettes. I'll put templates up there as well. But we could do a nice long cloud like that as well, just to create some different visual interest. Combine that shape. So if I even duplicate it, flip it, what I want to do is make it smaller. Do it again. Even smaller. Okay, we got that. Maybe one more cloud, kind of. Nah. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so we got our clouds for the most part. I'll select all my cloud shapes, group, clouds. And then I'm going to get out my transparency tool. I definitely want the clouds at the top to be the brightest. I want them to kind of fade down and away from there. Something else we could do is we come in here to, let's just try this quick. Let's try adding a gradient. I'm going to select the darker green and want it to be more actually, we're going to leave the gradient out of it. I'm going to go ahead and just if anything as we go here, say Just kind of trying something here real quick. Oh, something like that could work. I might want to make this just a little lighter. There we go. Multiply. Drag this below the eye shape though. I'm not gonna get too carried away with some of that. And then so we'll have Cast Shadow from Baby Dino. This one we'll have to drag up to the foot. I'll go back down here and I want to put just a little bit shadow right there. Cool. Pretty happy with that. I want to add some there. And there as well. We're going to keep moving along with the shadows here. I really do enjoy using the pencil tool in order to create these shapes. It makes the process much nicer. So let's see here. There's all the plates. Now, what I might be able to do, all right, I'm going to try something. So I'm in this group, I'm going to create a layer. Drag it to the top of the group, right? So now I should be able to because other than that, I'd have to go into each okay, this one is here. Okay. But for this, I'm thinking I should be able to then go into, because if not, I was going to have to select each shape. All right, brought it right back up there. Okay, sometimes I don't. Okay, I'm here. All right, and layer one. There we go. But yeah, so this way, that layer is sitting on top of all the spikes. If not, I was going to have to open up each spike and create a shadow shape within each spike. So this works out much better, much more convenient. So you have to know that, multiply, you can't see it over the black line, so you can put it on top of a lot of work and it still be able to read correctly. This is another thing here. I wish I could automate that once I select it, yeah, hey, I want all of these to be the same. I want all of them to then select multiply. There may be an auto feature in here, like you can in like Photoshop and such where you can record actions. So that's something I have to look into. But yeah, a lot of this, usually, there's a few different things going on. There's learning how to draw, and there's also learning how to use these programs, whichever program you may decide to use, whether you're using Affinity like I am, or you're using the Adobe suite of products, or what is it, like Kita, which is a free program. That's gonna be a Multiply. Or if you're using like a Clip Studio Paint or something like that. So there's learning art and learning how to create the art and doing that, and then there's also the learning curve you got to get through as far as learning the actual programs themselves. And in my opinion, though, once you learn one program, they all operate in a very similar way. So once you learn one, it's not too bad trying to learn another. Just gonna make those pop a little bit. I don't want them to stand out too much, but just a little bit. Let's grab a couple of got a tangent there. I'm going to group this. This will be the towel layer. Towel. Just squish it a bit. Yeah, that'll work. Now with the towel shape selected, I want to go stroke. I want to mess with that just a bit. Don't remember where my starting point was. Is the problem. This could be a little frustrating to work with sometimes, but I'm not trying to do anything too crazy here, so. Alright. Sometimes it's hard to get a read on what area it's actually affecting. That's making that. So the opposite of this would be I just wanted to change that up a little bit. Got a little variation in there. Another thing I want to go ahead and do is I do want to, I'll take the pencil tool. No, I still just want that to be the stroke. Okay, here we go. Then we're going to have to reset the stroke on this. Alright, I'm going to drag this into the towel shape. The towel shape itself. You can see what it even looks like. It's just black. Yeah, we can do that. We'll lower the stroke on it though. Alright, we'll come into Baby Dino. Now, in Baby Dino, I can do the same thing I did earlier. I could create a... Nope, that's Papa Dino. Baby Dino. I could create a layer at the very top and then go from there. So, the only thing is in situations like this is going to have to be under that. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in here. We'll I also see here. There we go. All right, let's create some shadows for Baby Dino. I've got to move his other hand. This hand needs to come under that hand. There we go. The light's going to hit here, have maybe a little shadow here. Alright, let's see. And then you get a little shadow here. back up to the layer here. This is where I'll be able to just do this. Now, let's see here. Yeah, these are going to essentially be almost all in shadow. I mean, technically they could all be in shadow, but I'm going to leave just a little bit poking out from them. Just some light. It'll help with the contrast, and it'll help kind of add a little bit more to the piece. At least that's the goal, right? I should be on Friday streaming as well, for sure. I may also try to get on an evening this week, but we'll have to see how that works and how tired I am with certain things. But yeah, Friday I plan on doing a Halloween themed stream. I think we'll try to go ahead and create some different jack-o'-lanterns and ghosts, so some fun little vector things there. Cool, so this is coming out really nice. I'm very happy with this. I think the only other might be interesting if we try to add some light, but I don't want to. Let's see what we can do. Maybe there wasn't a in between. See, that's not going to work unless I bring it down into the main body shape, which is fine. We'll do that. Now, with most of the other ones, I've been using Gaussian blur to kind of fade that out. Let's scale with object quick. Layer, let's go to let's just scroll through some of these real quick, because even if I hit hard light, I can always lower the opacity on it. I don't know if that's what I want. Let's turn that off real quick. Let me try something else. Let's just be way more general with it. Let's apply the same blur. This time let's do soft light. back to hard light quick. So I want it. No, I don't need that. So maybe making it a little more yellow. I'm really gonna use this here. What we get out of glow. Alright, let's just try this for now. Let's try... Alright, put that on soft light, drag that in there. I need my Gaussian blur, so let's drag this FX up here. The more layers you get, the more trouble this is going to have moving back and forth, up and down, which can be a pain. But the better your computer is, the easier it should be able to handle this. I hear mine really going right now. I've got the streaming software on, I've got a number of things going at the same time, so it kind of bogs the computer down a bit. And then sometimes we get stuck like this. Okay. Control Z. Go over your Gaussian blur. Add or shadow, cogwheel. I don't know why there's not a cogwheel in Gaussian blur, some silly things like that. Alright, let's see here. And that's working out okay. I don't know if this is exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe just on the top of his head, his leg. Back down to his tail. Add just a little bit more. This could be one of those situations where, you know, it's like, well, it looks okay, but I'm not sure about it, but really it just needs a little bit more to finish the thought. I'm going to drag this into... Alright, we're using glow. gotta add a little to Papa. Nothing too crazy. He's working. I think it's all working pretty well. Just want a little bit of lighting. Go with glow. Oh yeah, vampire would be cool, Russ. You're right. Yeah, so see what we could do. You know what? Maybe we could do I got you. Okay, we could do a little like a vampire. Oops. We could do a little like a vampire jack-o'-lantern or a ghost vampire, stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do something like that. I was aiming for. No, sorry. I'm going to bring this up here real quick so that way I can grab this FX, transfer it to that, and I'll drag it back down. Yeah, I was thinking about like a jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that, so that way people can, or ghosts, so some more simple shapes, so that people can create vector art of it, and then either if they're using, you know, if they make their own decals or their own type of art, so something that would be straightforward enough that people would be able to do quickly before Halloween and make some stuff out of it. But that's definitely a cool idea, and we'll roll with that too, you know. All right, so. So I come up with the hand here. And we'll do just a little bit on his belly. I feel like the one in his hand is just a bit too strong. Just kind of mess around here a little bit. Gotta add some shadow, nothing too crazy. Let's see here, because I also wanted to come in here. All right, so kind of going off the cuff here. This is going to be a little Bluetooth speaker. Of some sort. This would be the back part of it. This just kind of looks like one of the, like something I got kind of, so just kind of roll with this. It's nothing too crazy. It's just something for a little extra. Alright, duplicate that. Just shrink that up a bit. And then we'll duplicate it one more time. And then we'll do this, we'll get rid of that. Boom. It's like a little jack. And we can do now let's just select all of them. All to bring them over to the other side too. And then boom. Come to the towel. I'm going to grab this shape here. When I created the shape, I thought it was weird looking. I didn't think it really fit right. And I left it, and here we go. That's why. So let's just bring a little, I mean, you know, it's silly. I guess we didn't really have to add that, but I wanted to throw it in there just to bring a little more believability to our little scene here. So let's see here, towel, lips, this is all. Nope. See, so now I can move and scale everything. Come down just a little bit. So I'm really digging that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and sign it. One of my favorite fonts in here is Red Rock. This has certainly become part of my signature at this point. So I'm going to select that. I always want to adjust the kerning on this a bit. It's the spacing between the letters there. Just bump that up. Duplicate it. Bump it up a bit. Over. Nope. The other way. Nope. Going back and forth with this a bit because I don't want, I never want the signature to, there we go. We're just making the same color as design. I'll never overpower it. You know, we want it to be seen, but we don't want it to stand out too much. Because even that might be a little too, no, that you can't see. Okay. One other thing I'd like to go ahead and do is I do want to open up this window here. Now, so far, everything that I've done here has been vector. The sketch originally was not. That's just a raster sketch. Everything that I've done here, however, is full vector, so it'd be fully editable, and you'd be able to scale it up or down or produce anything you'd want. But as a finisher to it, I'm going to add an asset here, something to really kind of bump up the sun a bit. It may work, it may not work, but something I want to go ahead and try. Now these, however, will not be these will not be vector. So this element would not transfer to full vector after the fact. So just try a couple of things. Next, we could always pull this down a bit. If that doesn't work, we have others we could try. These might not bring more to the table. These might not really necessarily add much, so it's just a matter of trying them out. Just to see. You never know. I mean, something like this kind of blows out what we've already done ourselves, so I mean, I don't enjoy that quite as much. Because I always bring it back a little bit too, just to... Let's see what else we got here. Sunbeam, sunlight. Yeah, a lot of this kind of just overwhelms what we've already done. And I mean, we went through our process for a reason, right? So I don't really want to... Now, this one's kind of nice. Although it contradicts the rays that we have. So let's just go ahead and get rid of that. The only other thing that I can do... Just wanted to try those. So we can go ahead and we'll close this out real quick. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to... sun here. No, my lip. Okay, here we go. I can duplicate the rays. Maybe I can turn. Nope. Maybe I could bring this up over the top of everything. Something like that, and let's just see if we do this then with it. Nope. Let's go ahead. I'm going to duplicate this triangle here. I'm going to pull it outside. All right. I always like to try things like this, even if they don't work. I mean, this is how you come up with new techniques. Always giving something a chance. group them, and then if I grab this again, there you go. Alright, just about done, I think. Let's kind of wrap this up a bit. I'll lower the opacity just a hair, I think. So I think something like that works for the most part. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks right now. But yeah, I always like to try to add a little bit of that extra detail at the end, something to overlap the main subject just a little bit, just to create some extra depth. But I'm pretty happy with how this came out. And this is kind of a combination of some of the different things that you can find on my channel already. Like I said, I've got the vector landscape videos up. They are step-by-step follow along videos, and then I've got a bunch of live streams where I've been doing these little cartoon characters. So this is a combination of both of those things. So I'm happy that I was able to kind of come on here and show you that and how you can combine the various aspects. But yeah, I appreciate you all being here. If you haven't, please follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. It all helps me continue to do this. Also, if you're looking for other ways of supporting the channel, I do have a Patreon page. All my links are in my on my YouTube banner or on my Twitch page. But I have a Patreon page where I upload various color palettes and or templates for various vector projects, as well as the finished artwork of some of my more like some other pieces of my artwork. So depending on what tier you're subscribed to, you can get access to color palettes, templates, the working files from the tutorials that I upload to YouTube, as well as high resolution images of any type of fan art or other artwork that I do that you would then be able to go and print out on your own. There's Patreon. There's also the Super Thanks on YouTube, or the Buy Me a Coffee link in my YouTube banner as well. Every single thing helps. You know, I do this and it allows me to bring more, it gives me more time to stream and gives me more time to make videos. Also, please let me know if there's anything in particular you might want to see on the channel. As I mentioned, I already have up on YouTube drawing and sketching in Pixel Persona and stroke versus fill videos. I'm going to be updating both of those videos and coming out with new versions of each. I will also be creating a basic lighting tutorial and a basic color theory tutorial as well. So my plan is to upload those as videos, and then to hold live streams and to do live streams that will then expand on what I talked about in those videos. So that's all coming up, and you being here with me, showing me that support, it helps make all that happen. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending your time here. If there's anything else you'd like to see in particular, please let me know. Have an awesome rest of your Monday, and have a fantastic week. I will see you again on Friday. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Until next time, take care of us. Bye-bye. See you all guys later.